In this video, I'm going to do an in-depth review of the new G2 Icon ratchets and compare them to my current ratchet selection that I have here, starting off with half-inch. These are my half-inch ratchets and breaker bars. In general, might be missing a few breaker bars, but I'm pretty sure this is all my ratchets. So I got the two Koken short handles. I got a slightly larger Pittsburgh Pro and even larger Tecton rotary head ratchet. This is an Acme Tools alert. So went back to storing the half-inch ratchets on these holes on my tool cart, trying to keep it light, but not really wheeling it around. Definitely trying to save the tools for what I'm using, but I kind of ran out of ratchet drawer space, so I went back to putting the large long handle ratchets in these large holes in the tool cart. So first off, this is the non-flex head G2 Icon ratchet, 26-inch ratchet. Definitely a large ratchet. The handle is significantly larger diameter than any half-inch ratchet I have, I'll say. So the first one to compare it to is this 26-inch tone adjustable head but non-flexing head. It's almost like a half-inch and a 3/8 ratchet. The head is so small. I purchased it wanting a long format half-inch ratchet. This is kind of a cheap one on the market. I'm definitely in the Japanese tools. Not a huge tone person, but when I was looking at the $300 snap-on ratchet at the time for I think approximately $70-80, it seemed like something I could use for a while. So had it, now I'm replacing it or further augmenting it with this nice Icon G2. So the next one I'll compare it to is the old Icon flex head. Not sure the exact length. I think that's an 18-inch, maybe a 20-inch length. Let's call that 18. But very similar. Not gonna say similar. I'm gonna say, let's see what the measurements say. The Icon is huge, so that's, not sure if I was able to see that, but significantly bigger. You can kind of see on there. So they stepped it up. I'm very happy about the torque test channel results and that you could put snap-on kits in there to rebuild them. I know snap-on tools are very expensive, but those kits are kind of cheap, so hopefully it stays that way. And I do plan to possibly replace them, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. For sure not until they need it. So having trouble here putting this other ratchet away. Then over here, decided to keep the Kokens. So I think this is the same equivalent of the ratchet I just put away, but a Koken version. I found that compared to the G2 Icon, the head is about the same thickness, but it's much smaller in width. And the Koken shovel head one, the width is approximately the same size, and the head is much thinner. So it's basically both of those dimensions added together, and just a very large ratchet, very heavy. One thing I did notice on some of the Koken tools is that they have an oval handle, which is supposed to improve the strength. And compared to the G2, it's just a circular diameter cylinder, but just very beefy. I expect it to be very strong. So as I mentioned earlier, this approximately 18-inch Koken ratchet has approximately the same thickness on the head as the G2, but is significantly smaller on the width. I do like the action on the Koken. As far as back drag is much lower. You can just feel it by hand, and also the switch. So I stand by my assessment that Koken is the superior ratchet. I forget how much this cost, but I think it was north of $100. So I did get to a point where I was spending some, getting some premium Koken ratchets, not just sticking with the cheaper ones. But the next one I'm going to review, I did score for $30, and I think it was a great purchase and very happy with it. And if I had to choose this Koken ratchet with the flex head versus the Icon G1, I would take this Koken 9 times out of 10. I'm sure it costs more. It also doesn't have an easy warranty to replace, but I think it's just a superior quality tool, and I would prefer to have it and use it in my inventory. That being said, if it's getting to a point where something might break, I'm definitely going to use the Icon for the simple fact that it has an easier return warranty. And so I kind of like the best of both worlds. When the yen got low, I got a bunch of Koken ratchets. I feel they're the best. I love them. I want to use them all the time. But I think the Harbor Freight has the superior warranty situation, and so I got a bunch of those as well. And if things get to the point where I might break something, I'm definitely getting the Icons out. So here's the shovel head one. It's kind of like a proto style. It's very thin head, but it's very big as well. It's approximately the same size as the G2. Here I got the exact measurements, but I'm not sure if they're even readable. It's kind of moving too fast here. But the back drag is definitely lower, just like all the Kokens. And like I said, I scored this thing on the internet for less than $40, and I feel like that was a deal of a century there. Those deals are long gone. While the yen hasn't recovered compared to the dollar has lost significant value since I purchased these Koken ratchets. That's just the reality of the world we live in. Our paychecks are just being diminished by the day. So it's one of the reasons I'm a huge advocate for saving in gold and silver. But back to the G2 review. In the end, very happy with it. Very happy with the torque test channel. I did watch, they did a 3/8, so they haven't done the 1/2 inch. That might, maybe that's gonna go in Snap-on's favor there. But so far I like the data I'm seeing on the internet regarding the G2s. People are happy with them. I'm happy with them, and the price is right. Unfortunately, I didn't wait out for a sale. I just kind of went out and got these. So here I'm going to kind of show the current state of my ratchet collection. I moved all the 1/2 inch out. I put this organizer in here for smaller ratchets and extensions. I got the longer ratchets and extensions on the side over here. So this is all the 3/8 ratchets I got, and the one long 1/4 inch Icon G2 over to the right. Kind of zooming in here, I got some Pittsburgh Pro, KTC, Icons, and a Tecton. I would recommend against these palm ratchet spinners. Get you some Koken spinners. I wish I knew that earlier before I bought those. And I finally got these organized. These used to just be kind of fumbled around in a pile. And I'm watching a lot of toolbox tours. I decided I need one of these organizers. So there's the 1/2 inch ratchets already went over. So now we're going to review the 3/8 Icon G2 ratchet I bought. I only bought one of these, just like I just bought one of the 1/2 inch, and I end up going with the Comfort Grip Flex Head. And I'm going to compare it to the ratchets of similar format. So I got the G1 Icon. I prefer the non-grip, but this is what, the G2 comes with a grip. So I got it. It's not the end of the world. Maybe later in life, when I get older, I'll appreciate the soft grip, or if I move to a colder climate. But right now, I'm liking the cleanliness of the metal grip. Just wipe it clean with a rag, and boom, you're done. So the Koken Flex Head, long ratchet, KTC rotary head, has a sticker that came on it said "Do not high torque it." So those are definitely out of contention with this long handled Icon G2. And these other ratchets to the bottom left here are definitely much shorter. So just kind of comparing how this G2 fits into my current collection or stable of ratchets, and very, very happy with it so far. Look forward to using it. I'm not sure why I'm getting out all these small ratchets here, because at some point I pull them away and just start comparing them to the like size ratchets. So I think we narrowed it down to the long handled G1 icon, the new G2. We're going to take away this KTC rotary head. It's low torque, it's a rotor head, although it is long. We're going to leave the coke in, and we're going to remove these other two shorter ones. And I'm not sure what that one, I think that was just the long non-flex coking one. So these are the two ratchets I'm really going to dive down and compare it to. I'm very happy with this Koken flex head long handle 3/8. It's about 11 inches versus the Icon 18, but it seems to give me plenty of leverage for any job that I'm doing, so I'll probably stick with it. The main reason for purchasing this Icon G2 is it's a knockoff of Snap-on internals and the Matco locking flex head feature. Two ratchets I've always wanted. Could never consider myself able to afford or justify the purchase, but when this G2 came out, I said, well, here we go. I can get those two features that I've always wanted. And this, I think this thing cost me, I want to say this one's $65, but I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. But so far, very happy. Measurements are almost identical as the old Icon G1, but I think they're a little beefier. I think it's a little wider, a little thicker. But again, I'm not doing a very good job of documenting that. Maybe if you could pause it, you can kind of see what the dimensions are. But definitely while I'm doing the commentary, I'm not able to see the dimensions. So hopefully these measurements are worthwhile and somebody got some understanding of what size they are. Not sure if I'll do a review after use. Got so many ratchets at this point and doing so little work on the car. Not sure I'm going to be able to perform a how it performed video, but maybe in a few years. Jobs I got coming up on my cars, transmission fluid change on the truck, and I think I'm going to try to tackle some CV axles here coming up here. I got some leaky boots, definitely in the Camry and possibly in the Tundra. We'll see if I can DIY that. It's maybe should be a fun job I've never done before. Maybe I even use some of these ratchets. Most likely the 1/2-inch versions though. So here I'm testing the back drag. I can't really tell much difference between the G1 and G2, but definitely the Koken is superior in that measurement. I think it's long enough. If I had to pick one of these three ratchets, 100% no question going with the Koken, even with the lack of warranty issue. But that being said, if I get to a point where I'm possibly going to break something, these icons are coming out immediately. And if things are just going smooth and wrenching away on bolts I've already taken off and put on to the proper torque, I'm gonna stick with the Kokens probably. They're just such a dream to work with. They feel great. Their sockets feel great. Very little play. Very good fitment. The Z series really lives up to its purpose of getting into small, tight spaces, and the ratchets pair with the sockets incredibly well. Both ratchets and sockets are very small. So that pretty much concludes the 3/8 analysis of the new Icon G2 ratchet compared to ratchets I have of similar size and form factor. So here we're moving on to 1/4-inch. We got two 1/4-inch G2s, the long straight handle and the comfort grip locking flex head. Do not have any ratchets anywhere near this long, but that's not going to stop me from breaking out my ratchets that I have to show what I have in comparison. So here's the Tecton Roto head, Icon Koken old school long handle, Koken flex head long handle, And I think that's what we're going to say I have that are similar. I got some stubbies and regular size ratchets that just don't compare to these lengths. So as you can see, these Icon G2s are way longer than what I currently have. So it's a new tool, new form factor. I threw a small Z series socket on the long G2 straight handle just to see. It's probably a tool I use to reach into tight places. Probably the only use I have for it. I doubt I'll be using that leverage on 1/4 inch, but it's a tool I have. I've always wanted a snap-on FL80 or whatever these ratchets are called in 1/4 inch, and I feel like I finally got one. And I'm very happy with the fact that Harbor Freight knocked off Snap-on's design. Nothing makes me more happy when it comes to buying ratchets than to get the design I want for pennies on the dollar. And the end consumer is not where we're going to win the war of shipping jobs overseas. That ship has sailed, and if you want to blame people, I think the executives are where the blame game should start. Politicians and the Federal Reserve, but that's a whole different topic. I'm going to continue to buy low price superior ratchet designs when I get the chance, and if they come from Japan or China, that's just the way it is. I'm not going to spend triple the dollars to try to right a wrong that has been done to us in our country for many years from greedy politicians, executives, and bankers. It is not up to the auto mechanic to right that wrong, or in my case, a DIY ratchet collector. So moving on with the video, taking some measurements. Clearly the back drag is superior on the Kokins. The old school and the new school Z series are equally awesome for back drag. I will continue to use those ratchets. I doubt I'll get to levels where I'm worried about breaking things, so I'm gonna be I tend to use all my ratchets, honestly. I rotate through them. I use one for a while, then I like my custom leather grip on the Pittsburgh Pros, then I'll go to the Kokins, then I tend to stick with the old school neural grip Kokins for the most part, but every once in a while, of course, I'm going to break out these new ratchets and use them for a job. So they'll all be used, and very happy with what I paid for them and the amount of tools and the quality in the tools, and again, the return policy. Harbor Freight's less than 5 minutes from my house. That makes a huge difference in whether I'm buying Tecton or Harbor Freight. And I initially started with some Tecton stubby ratchets, and I wasn't very impressed with them, so I've kind of moved on from Tecton ratchets. I just got two stubbies, one in 1/4 inch, one in 3/8, and they've worked great, but ever since I got the Kokins, I haven't been using them much. So this is kind of the final form factor analysis on these 4 ratchets here, how they size up, what I got in my inventory. So hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this. So here I am looking at the 4/4 inch ratchets, and I'm gonna pull out a socket or two and kind of see how they go. Kind of thinking in my mind, like, what would be the actual purpose of these actual ratchets? And the flex head might get into a tight spot around something, so I said, well, let me get one of my Z series sockets and see what type of curved situations I could get this thing around. With the long handle, maybe I could reach deep inside of a area that would have been tougher. Doubt this will actually ever come up. Probably use the G2 comfort grip flexing head handle just as a general ratchet, but this straight G2 non-flexing head, I really not seeing any use for it. Maybe something like a fan belt pulley or something getting down in there in a tight space, but it's nice to have. I think it was $45. for sure would not have got the snap-on one. But so here I'm basically measuring, like, okay, what would be the total height of the ratchet with the socket on the various 4 ratchets, and just kind of getting an idea of what type of tight spaces I could fit into. So just becoming familiar with the tools, seeing how the small socket I have fits on these long handles, and envisioning any type of tight space solutions that these may offer compared to my current tool set. So hey, I got some really long handle 1/4-inch ratchets now that I didn't have before. Will that ever come in useful? Hopefully. This one is probably the configuration I'll be using, the long-handled straight Z series. I think that's going to work. In a second here, I'm going to break out the long-handle wrenches I would have for this type of scenario. So I got this, I didn't get the KTC long-handle wrenches 12-point out. I should have got that out in this scenario. But here I am, kind of grabbing a few long wrenches I got. Now I'm realizing I definitely forgot to grab the longest ones I have, which are the gear wrench and the KTCs. So I'm going to go back down in the garage, and I'm actually going to do that comparison now that I thought about it. But again, getting familiar with the tools, and very happy with purchases. Back to the toolbox. This is kind of the final configuration: 1/4-inch ratchets, 3/8, 1/4-inch extensions, 3/8 ratchets. And then we're going to go down, still keeping a Koken drawer with the Koken ratchets. Got a stubby flex head, the old school stubby, long handled, and then the 1/4-inch guys living over there. And also just the foam set, standard ratchets, 1/2-inch, 3/8, 1/4-inch. And then go down, do a little zoom in on the type of 1/2-inch extensions I have. Got a Koken T-handle over there, slider. And over here, got some more extensions. Those extensions on the other side, I think, are the wobble extensions. So I got a pretty good setup. Here's the tool dog licking his paws, keeping me company in the garage. He's a real good boy. Very happy with his behavior. He's been kind of barking quite a bit, so trying to keep him from barking at everything. Here I'm giving him a treat, bribe to shut him up, keep him keep that little bark under control. So pretty much wraps up this video. This last drawer I kind of just was using for new tools. Got the Quinn impact stubbies, 2 sets of 1/2-inch and 3/8, 12-point from Harbor Freight Quinn, and then 6-point from Walmart Hyper Tough. Got the dog grooming tools and some torch accessories, so probably going to clear out that drawer soon. This is a PSA for anybody thinking about buying these palm ratchets. Don't do it. Buy these Koken spinners instead. Something I wish I did, and I had no idea these spinners even existed. And I bought these palm ratchets thinking I'd use them all the time. Never use them.